Ascension the outside, then came trying to get through Pashiro. It's going to be close, but eluding just in front of Ascension. Munamek late. Ascension over the top. Ascension has won it from eluding.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I'm joined in studio with John Walter, Master Punter, Grand Finalist. How you feeling, Walt?
I was going to wear one of those gimp balls this week, put in my mouth so I don't say anything after last time. I'm just going to be quiet this week. I'm going to throw off. I'm going to do everything I can to make it difficult for everyone, including myself, especially DK.
Oh, down to Mexico to see your great pal DK?
Yeah, I don't trust him.
Come on.
He'll be sending me dummies. He's Team McLeod for sure.
Runs deep, that association. How are you, DK?
Yeah, he's spotted on there. I'll be right behind Johnny McLeod. Don't worry about that.
I told you.
I was trying to stay dry down here, but yeah, she's going to piss down today. Yeah, so anyway, so we're going to get copy of some of Sydney's been having, but nice wet track on a big race day. But anyway, don't worry, it's not about me. Don't talk to me. Talk about this bloke next to me. Just
Nico.
Blanc, 150 to 1 Cornella or something. Or what'd you do? 40s and 50s, 2 picks. And that I did notice, Nico, obviously came into the consideration. Was it as there was a grey in the wet?
Grey in the wet.
Accusation, was it called? Accusation or something?
Yeah.
Ascension.
So, that was the only reason I found it, DK.
That's
It's your old pearl.
That's it. Mate, everyone just put shit on it, and they didn't. Then I had blokes jumping out of the woodwork and giving me stat. Oh, it's all a myth and stuff like that. But tell you what, they keep saluting, as you saw that thing do.
White Marlin was there, but
yeah, that's right. There's another one.
Yeah, another one.
There's another one, but
Richie in the Caulfield Cup, he'll be right there. Don't worry about that.
I'll tell you what, if you've just tuned in or you've got no idea what we're talking about, the racing show, Nico's other podcast with T-Dogs, tipped it out at 100 to 1, and then he followed it up in the yard, tipped it again at 51. I think about 80 is the fair. So Ascension was the horse that we're talking about, and it just happened on school pickup time, and I got bailed up by a mother. And I missed the tip, missed the race, so I haven't had a bean on it, so I'm absolutely filthy. But, Nico, you've been in form, and we've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. So if you haven't tried it yet, if that doesn't convince you that you need Nico's Mounting Yard Mail, 51 shot from the yard, just to confirm, cherry on top, $177 will get you through to the end of the year, and it's via Telegram, 3 to 5 minutes before the race. Got to get on board. Membership paid for, and everyone was kicking up and kicking their heels yesterday. They were absolutely loving it, and some blokes got the first 4.
Yeah, well, they had the second horse too, did what price was it? Eluding.
Yeah, Eluding was actually the better result, to be honest. I kind of bet up a bit more him than the other one.
He's 25 to 1 or something, wasn't
it? Yeah, he just sort of had the perfect setup there, and then, the other two sort of fell into the first 4, the two sort of were in the market, so, yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do that again on Saturday. Don't be expecting that
I think your brother said that
situation.
Hey, enjoy this, Nico. It'll probably never, ever happen again.
Yep.
The Blanc Cornella of two of those odds, but well done, mate. Well done.
DK, you're close enough to rub him. Just rub him for a bit of luck, can you? For all.
Yeah, I've got to get the even money chance home today. That's out there. I can't even get even home. So, let alone 40s or whatever it was. So, anyway.
Interesting one last Saturday. It's probably one of the most. I've seen a couple of amazing things on racetracks, but the tweet from the Racing New South Wales Stewards, we'll cover it quickly. Race 5, the graphics on screen now. Riders in consultation with the stewards have indicated that as the going towards the inside of the track is deteriorating, riders will endeavour to position their mounts away from the rail in the middle stages to find better footing. Have you seen or heard of a more ridiculous thing in your life, John Walter? Except the one occasion, I think it was 2016 or 17, when they moved the rail for It's an Undeal after the barrier draw. That was shocking. We posted the link on our Twitter channel the other day, but this is next best.
I've seen a few interesting things from Racing New South Wales, but no, this was different. And moving the rail obviously makes a lot more sense because that was their issue, but they reckon it takes too long to do that or whatever, so they just sort of told them to see if they could avoid the section. And I think the only reason, from what I'm led to believe, that the statement was released was because the riders said we won't go out unless the public are made aware of it because we're going to look like madmen. You know what I mean? The first 5 leaders have led on the rail, and if we go out there and purposely steer away from it, we're going to look like complete buttheads. And imagine if, like the leader rolls off and I think the next favourite, Opal, whatever it was called, drew 1. If he had snuck up the inside of the leaders that rolled off intentionally from what looked the best part, all hell would have broken loose. So I think that's why they only tried it for one race too. They just came out and you could see the jockeys just didn't know where to go.
Mm.
They had no clue where to go. The right horse probably won the race, but I think they made the right decision to can it after it anyway.
DK, can you remember anything like this? It just doesn't sit well with me, the whole thing.
Oh, it makes just what Walt's just gave it a great explanation. Without context, it looks, madness and stuff we expect from North Korea. But that, as Walt said, the jocks have said, they've made the point there. So I think in the context of it, that explains it, which it needed some explaining. But that's it.
Should be an all bets off scenario for me, and I'm not surprised that it got called off the next race anyway. But
there you go.
Definitely a big query thing. What I was talking about earlier is the Master Punter Grand Final. A fortnight ago, we saw Johnny Walter knock over Mark Lambourne and John McLeod knocked over Anthony Don. It was unbelievable, the final hour. So if you need some entertainment on Saturday Arvo and you want to put the sound down on racing.com and Sky Racing, make sure you tune into our YouTube channel for this battle. It'll be a ding-dong battle. I think the early banks are somewhere around 16,000 and 13K. I'm not sure where we're going to turn them off. It looks like they'll both go over 20K for their starting banks, but they might start to get to the sort of $30,000 or $40,000 mark, I'd suspect. But they're going to start off the same marker here, and it's Johnny Walter versus John McLeod. We'll do it out of the Melbourne studio, so we're all on the plane on the way down to Melbourne. So I think the stream room's set up for it, so it's going to be a real dungeon environment. I think
is DK even locked in yet?
I'll
come in for 15 minutes.
You coming, DK?
I'm coming in at beer o'clock, whatever that is.
What's that?
For?
Midday.
My old man, it's sun comes up, beer's
not on
cold.
a drink.
DK will be on the couch, so it's going to be cracking. Nico will be in the yard at Caulfield.
Trav going to be there?
Trav will be there.
That's all right.
So me and T-Dogs will host
T-Dogs,
it.
yeah.
That's
So
all
we'll host it. So midday on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out, live stream. And the best part is there's going to be a winner. John McLeod or John Walter will go to the US Masters. And we've also got a Masters draw. So $50 if you want to go to the Masters. We're going to draw it live with our friends at Ankle Breakers at 6:30. So I think the last race at Brisbane's 6:20. And then everyone that's bought into this Masters Club for $50 entry, it closes Friday night at 11:55. So you've only got until Friday night to buy a ticket. And then at 6:30, we're going to push the magic button on Ankle Breakers, a little draw, and then someone will be joining the winner of the Master Punter over in Augusta. So there'll be me, maybe Walt, maybe John McLeod, and someone out there that's just had $50. So you've backed slow donkeys and free bets and all that sort of stuff. So I tell you what, I went 10 years ago, and it is unbelievable. You wet your pants when you walk in the door there. So $19,500 first prize and some other prizes.
Should have just boxed Nico's first $2 for $50 yesterday. You could have gone first class. Could have gone for 2 tickets.
I had no idea what the value of those entry into the actual golf tournament was till my mate Tim rang me the other day chasing tickets, Scoot. Like, you just can't get tickets into that tournament. And if you do, it's like, like all those big sporting events over there, you pay through the nose. So to be able to get access to it is it's pretty rare.
Yeah, so I think it's $9,500. It took us 4 months to put the trip together. We're sold out already, but to get the tickets alone, it's something like $11,000 just for the tickets to the 3 days of the golf. The accommodation is a nightmare. It's sort of like trying to organise accommodation for Warrnambool or Swan Hill. It is so
identical, really, but worse because it's similar. There's not much there. Everyone moves out for the couple of weeks because they just Airbnb their joints out because there's no other accommodation really.
So I think we've got at least 3 houses, and I hope I don't draw the same house as Walt. But,
I'll do. John
McLeod.
John McWalt.
Yeah. Well,
John McWalt.
McLeod will have a fair go on the drink, but you'll be in bed by 8 o'clock. You'll have the jammies on.
100%.
It's going to be outstanding. So if you want to throw a dart and you like golf or you just like sporting events, I'm telling you, this is the best thing I've ever been to. So join me over in America, and it's a couple of boys from Little Birdie TV. It's going to be outstanding. TrackScran this week. It's going to be a big show, so I'll try and make it quick. I'll tell you what, PVL, he says that he's the punter's pal, or, he's probably the battler's pal. He's from Western Suburbs. He's the kid from, where is he? out west somewhere.
No, he's not from planet
Where
Earth,
is he?
mate. He's not from planet Earth, mate.
I tell you what,
He's not from planet Earth, mate.
it's one thing to gouge us on POC tax and all this sort of stuff, but actually turning up at the races and getting gouged on a hot dog. Have a look at this one. Mitchell Lloyd sent this one in. A $12 hot dog for TrackScran at Royal
Is
Randwick.
that how it came like that?
Well,
Like,
his son's had a bite of it. He's
I don't reckon he has.
gotta
I reckon
post
that's
it
how
to
it came.
TrackScran.
That's the POC. That's the
So have a look at
POC.
that, $12. And then our old mate Juppy has sent in the $4 dog from Manangatang Races.
You reckon Juppy had 3 of them to make up?
Well,
And he said the sauce is in there under the. Someone asked where the sauce was. It's in under the cheese in the where it's been opened up.
he'd swallow it whole, Juppy.
I'll take $1.20. That wasn't the only one he had for the $4.
But that's what racing's about. Like $4 hot dog food versus $12 at Randwick. It's just a side note on the Masters. The Masters prices are stuck in 1970s.
Yeah, it costs you $3,000 to get in though.
But it's like dollar drinks, $2 and $3 sandwiches. It's unbelievable when you go to the Masters. So it's
Mate, they should
Manangatang
be-
prices once you get to the Masters. But
Should be like Happy Gilmore. They should be walking around with jugs of beer and with naked women at Augusta for $3,000 to walk in, but that's all right.
how can you have an $8 difference on a hot dog on a racetrack? Manangatang, Randwick, like that's criminal.
Well, the people they attract to the races now aren't punters, so they've got plenty of disposable income to spend on hot dogs.
Anyway, it's
That's
gone.
true. That'd be volunteers. That'd be the local women's association or something punching them out.
You ever been-
Compared to the spotless group or someone who's got to bid for the Randwick thing and just try and make as much margin as they can for their shareholders and serve up crap and charge as much as they can for it. Like,
Ever been to Manangatang, DK?
I haven't, no, and I haven't been to Menang then, but I did back a great winner there. One of the Free Willy, a great horse he was, won 10 races.
Free Willy.
Won his maiden there. He brought him down here, and Hobson brought him down here to Pakenham on the synthetic for some reason. Second up for him and wide all the way. And then all of a sudden he drew barrier 1 at Manangatang. I said, here we go. And they bet 3-1. It ran odds on. And God bless, was one of the last winners I backed.
I reckon I've had a Manangatang hot dog. I went there. I struck my first horse ever at Manangatang. I reckon I probably would have
There you
been
go.
12 or 13. And I reckon I've even sort of followed Juppy's footsteps there early days and had a Manangatang hot dog.
Well,
Can't remember it too much, but
The other grouse hot dog stand, which is no surprise, in the same district,
Oh,
is
Donald.
Swan Hill.
Swan
Swan
Hill.
Hill got the hot dog man or whatever it is. They got those beautiful big ones.
Donald's also good.
Oh, Donald.
Donald hot dog goes well.
The duck. All right, there you go. There's some tips for the punters.
If you're willing to drive 4 hours.
Manangatang's northwest of Swan Hill, out Oyen sort of way. So Walt's just looking at it, thinking, what are we talking about? But anyway, the winner of TrackScran,
Near
just
Pooncarie, Walt, near Pooncarie.
near
Did you have a
Tullibah,
winner there?
DK,
what's it called?
DK
No
Weird
idea.
Country. Huh?
Poonkari or Poonkari or whatever the hell
Yeah,
it's called.
home it went, didn't it, Walt? Home it went.
It won the there was a jockey there that was Keating. Was it Jay Keating? Didn't he? He was in Tasmania or whatever. He was the only jockey I knew in the race, but wherever the hell that joint was. Jay
Okay.
Keating.
Winner of TrackScran for the week is this one. It's the mini curry lamb roll with beer. So it's 59 Rand in SAFA dollars or $5.15 in Australian dollars. So it's a little white death roll with a beautiful little lamb curry and the beer kicker. So it's a mid-strength or a light. So if you're steering, I think that's a huge value. But they call it, you know what they call this little lamb roll? It's a bunny chow. Bunny chow. So it's not rabbit, but it's lamb curry roll. Bunny chow. Little bunny.
How gone are we?
Hey?
How gone are we? We're going.
TrackScran.
How gone are we? Seriously.
Tell you what, you're back. You could be a model this Saturday because you use the Manscaped. Don't know where it is. I've probably been using it on the orchestra stalls, but could be an edge, just like the Aussie swim team. So if you're looking for an edge, make sure you check out the Weed Whacker or the Lawnmower, or just buy both using Little Birdie as a promo code, manscaped.com. Walt, you said you don't wear any undies last week
I don't.
in the Queensland
Except for the
hot
Manscaped
heat.
ones, of course.
Eesh.
Yeah, well, if they're themed undies, I'll whack them on. I might get some DK ones. How long do they take?
How's Beck cope with you wearing cartoon jocks at your age? 40?
She's the one who gets them for me?
It's not a good look.
Why?
It's just what pulls
What are
the
you
stripes
worried
down
about?
and there's Bugs Bunny.
So what?
Oh, jeez, it's a weird one, mate.
What?
It's just
What do you want on there? What, you want a G-string or
Wait,
something?
Oh, you sort of
probably
grow
do.
out of that when you're a teenager.
You do,
I
you
would
probably
have
do
thought.
wear a
Teenage
G-string.
thing. Today's show's going to be an
Christ.
absolute belter. Caulfield Cup Everest. Donny, I tell you what, Donny's back. Extremist, $4.80. Won so easily. Coat was an absolute launch job. Airborne the Don. Mr. Mozart was a bit of a
Ran well,
sad
Mr.
one.
Mozart. What about it? See that race? So it's drawn 15 last week. Absolutely perfect, straight to the front race over. This week, 1. Good luck. Same race.
It was a moral, wasn't it, if they had to keep going?
And the other thing from Melbourne, that Lavish has drawn the opposite. It's gone from 2 trailing position perfect to 15.
So it's Everest Day for Walt, so it's going to be exciting to hear him preview that one. It's Christmas Day. Bigger than the Melbourne Cup, they reckon. TopSport Steamers last week, the Gov. Tell you what, Nelly'd run down Hot Pot Moral that Johnny Kelton was tipping at Adelaide, so make sure you note that down. But they're a bit due, the TopSport Steamers. It's been a couple of weeks between winners there. Bet Dr. Leigh, I tell you what, rough that. Golden Mile destroyed us. Oh, it was
I wouldn't say destroyed.
No, I was in the feeding position.
Dead set.
Let's not bring it up.
Disgusting. The chopper shot on elliptical. How was those aftershocks, DK, when I said, oh, well, have a look at the chopper shot?
What about it being $3.50 favourite for the spring champion?
Who?
Golden Mile.
Won't run it.
Even he got off after the race. He was like, well, it was gone 300 out, but I did what I had to do. I waved my magic wand and lifted it over the line.
11 horses within 2 lengths or something, was it?
I wish.
Rated 3 lengths below average or something for a Caulfield Guineas. And some bloke wanted a blue when I said it at its birthday.
I don't know how I got through last Saturday. Like elliptical and then laws of indices. I don't know how I've mentally bounced back.
Elliptical and
laws of indices. Because J-Mac just got me in the Guineas and then he just fisted me with laws of indices.
And the other one, if you're animated as well, he just jammed everyone all day.
Oh, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, there they go.
And then they jammed us yesterday.
With
the champion.
Madam
Pomeroy. Pissed him, didn't it?
What about Madam Pomeroy? Did you see his post-race? He said, it had the right form around all the best Sydney horses, even though it was beaten out of sight, just wasn't handling the wet tracks. Well, Hank, what was it?
That was the biggest reversal.
Yesterday.
Madam Pomeroy.
Did you see flippers on? Was it a gear change or something? I didn't.
That's the biggest form reversal I've seen for quite some time.
And then he got right of the day for dragging it out of the race and going straight up the worst part, nowhere near anything else, and winning by 6. I thought it was interesting. I think Nico should have got right of the day.
No, I was just talking about the champ Animo with DK. Just trying to fire him up again.
Yeah, he got me. Pissed in Animo, didn't it? And then all
I just loved its turn
it.
of foot on the bend. When it was -4 AC, the old in reverse.
It could be lay of the year in the Cox Plate.
It's not the lay of the year because it's a good horse, but it's
could be.
I think it'll be a very different race, the Cox Plate.
Could you take evens?
To do what?
How can it be evens when it just fell in? Seriously.
Well, that's the sick part. It will be evens.
His advantage on the others was he was probably a run behind most of them. Like they'd all been to 1800 and he'd only been to the mile, and he's beat them at the 2000. Now they all go to grand final day, and he's probably at the same spot as them now.
He's going to wobble around that track. I know that.
If he has to come round him at Moonee Valley,
he's going to wobble.
Anything could happen. Yeah.
He's your boyfriend, Nico.
Yeah, I've been on him since pretty much day one. So I'll stick up for him.
They're keen not. Although there's discussions trying to get Alligator Blood to go back to that mile race, but hopefully Gay stamps him and says no, we'll be going to the Cox Plate.
I think Zaki will beat him on.
I think Zaki will lead.
There'll only be like 7 or 8 in it. It won't be a big field where he's going to draw a bad barrier or something like that. It'll be very similar to the Caulfield Stakes.
It's going to be a test though, isn't it? I think
they'll go a lot quicker.
Caulfield Test was a barrier. Well, what they go 6 lengths below or something.
Yeah.
So.
I think so.
Alligator up its cracker. Alligator pull out.
It's exciting, but we're talking about the Caulfield Cup at Everest because it's more important this week. TopSport to win 5 on any Group 1s. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you support the local guys. Don't get sucked into any foreign-owned bookies. Support topsport.com.au.
Already News Corp-owned bookies?
Yeah.
No. I think a little shout-out to Tristan.
Christmas Day for promo arbors yesterday, wasn't it?
Mate, did you know what position he was playing? So he's broken his foot last night.
Yeah, Tristan's broken his foot.
Oh, has he?
As in goalkeeper.
He stepped on the pill, has he?
He said he broke it. Like he doesn't even know how he broke it. And he stayed on the whole game because he's like, this is so embarrassing that I can't walk and I'm in goals and I can't tell anyone. Then woke up this morning, can't get out of bed. He's on the way to the doctor now.
I didn't realise he was that tough. I thought he'd
how do you do it? What did he do it? Kicking a ball or just like falling over or something? I'm very upset. He's
playing that sport.
He's turning his bowling aspirations. That's what I'm worried about.
He's too old for that. Nico, I think it's a different scenario this Saturday. We're starting in the heavy 8 range, and what's happened this morning? I've heard that they've already copped 10 mil overnight on the trackers. What's going on?
It's been pouring with rain all night. It was sort of woke up this morning, there's water everywhere on the roads. The bloody Monash is nearly flooded. So, yeah, it's going to be, if we had ratings that go above a heavy 10, I'd be surprised if it wasn't a heavy 12 or 13 if you just kept going up by the rating system that they use. So, yeah, it's going to be super wet. And, come race 9 Caulfield Cup, like the track's going to be so worn out. Like they're going to have 8 races before that. They've already had sort of Guinea's Day where it's been underwater, and they'll come into the outside fence there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I reckon it's going to be like the Bull, like sort of day 3, day 2 of the Bull last year, where it's just like absolutely ploughed up, and you got to just hope you got to find the horse that gets through it the best, because it's not going to be the best ground, because it's all going to be exposed where the best ground is. So
it's going to be a test.
Going. Yep.
How does this happen whenever we've got a big deal stream? It's just cow paddock.
Yeah.
Hey?
No, it's
good. How does it happen?
You just try to bury me all the time. As long as the out wide meetings don't get hammered, I'll be shattered. Last week didn't even have any out widers.
Caulfield race 3, Nico, in a word, Mr. Maestro, proven heavy tracker. Is it a moral?
No, I thought he was a bit of a risk at $1.60. I don't know what would beat him, but I just thought coming out of a real fast run race last start, he's going to cop a bottomless heavy track, and his goal is the Derby. He's drawn 9. He could get back here. I thought at $1.60, I can't see him starting anywhere near that price. I think he starts closer to evens, to be honest. So, I wouldn't be diving in at that price if you're going to back him.
DK, anything catch your eye in that market?
What else is in there, Nico?
Distrustful Award.
Massa. He had a barrier trial at Mildura. I like the way he got through the line at Flemington though on that wet track late. But he is a bit green. Muramasa, that's Trent. What do you do there, Trent? And anyway, but Mr. Maestro, I mean, I don't know. I think he's it's short odds, but gee whiz, a few of them want to be against him the other day, and he market the smarts or the people who bet late, Jelko and whatnot, said, no, it's the one. And he's a strong horse. Well, you're going to be a strong horse on Saturday. I
see, just quickly, the Ethereal Stakes over 2,000 metres, another Oaks lead up, Foxy Cleopatra, Moko, Pavrida, Renaissance Woman. Anything catch your eye there? I thought Moko was a forgive last start.
Yeah, Moko looks like she wants 2,000. The Sydney form looks okay.
But my problem with Moko, well, I mean, they're going to spread out on that track. JK, whoever wrote it the other day, said no good inside horses. And when it let go first up at Pakenham and come around the outside of him. So then it was a drawn 3 there. That's my only thing that gets back inside him. But she's what's that? Is this 2,000 metres?
2,000.
She's been looking for the 2,000. That's why it gets the tick off me. And Dee Thornton got off first up at 1,400. She got rolled at the shorts to $1.50 or something. And he said she raced like a 2,000 metre horse. So she'd be an Oaks filly for sure.
Foxy Cleopatra was good last start. That might be the only busted young winner I've ever backed in my life at Moonee Valley. Luckily, it just absolutely brained her, but she's got a bit of a task from the draw. I thought there was a good roughie there. Walt might know more about this horse than me, or maybe not, given it hasn't really done heaps in its career. But O'Shea, Malum goes forward, tough on speed horse. I thought Aunt Roberta will give you a massive sight at hundreds or 80s now. So that'll be my best way in the race.
Like it's a good race to go looking wide. I thought Renaissance Woman would be 10 to 1 plus. It's like $5 or something, isn't it? And it's like it looks it's going all right, but geez, there's a few Sydney horses I thought might sneak under the radar that are well and truly found during the day. They're not taking the risks they normally would.
I love Nico. Just tipped 100 to 1 chance now. He's going looking for 80 to 1 chances to back it up.
Race to do it. 2,000 fillies on a bog.
It's going to get wet and wild there. Let's have a look at Nico's best bet, and it comes in race 8 at Caulfield. Market courtesy of TopSport in the Tristarc Stakes, and the favourite is Chain of Lightning. P. Moody, $5.50. Pallisapan is $5.50 with Tim Clark on board. Waltzman.
Gate 1.
Kiss on All Four Cheeks, $7. Flying Mascot, $7.50. Pride of Jenny, $7.50. Argentia was really good last start, $10. Exalita, $14. Bar Raider, $19. Similar quote for Fortunate Kiss, $21. Tycoon Evie. Mirror Vision, $26. And Better the Rest. That's the horse that we're going to have a look at. Last start is Mirror Vision. Jay Parr on board. Nico talks through this one in Sydney.
Yeah, I thought she ran solid here first up. She's never really been a horse that's sort of hit her straps fresh. She sort of gets better the deeper into the preparations. I thought this was not a bad run. I think this is probably better form than a lot of the Melbourne fillies. Star Tontes and Espiona sort of in behind them. Jamea, Pallisapan's also in this race. And I thought she's just probably the one that's going to be best suited potentially in the wet track. I think she'll improve a fair bit off this. Going to get a run where she can get to wherever she wants to on the track from barrier number 12 with Josh Parr going aboard, Waltzman. So, I just thought second up, you go back through her 4 master preparation. She did run second in the Coolmore to Lighthouse in the Group 1. So that was on a heavy track. And I think if she can replicate anywhere near that, she'll be running race for you at $26. And I thought the other horse in the race you could definitely have a look at is Papali, out of the same race. The grey there that just kind of stuck on speed. She finished third. She's got a really good wet track record. She ran in the Epsom last start and ran last, had Kathy on there. So that's probably a forgive run. I thought at 60s you could probably have something on her given how good she is in the wet. And she is a grade, DK. So
auto bet.
You'll be following in.
Auto bet. I've got to have something on it. 60 to 1, grey in the wet.
Yeah, I thought this was a race you could go looking for something a bit rough.
Yeah, he's got his tail up. So he's got confidence. He's just best betting 25 to 1 chances now after the.
It's that kind of day. Like I couldn't really label anything in the market. Like you got to just be. If you're finding one of these on the day, you're going to be winning.
Yeah,
like, and you can throw 10 darts.
As he said, Walt said, that's the day to find them. You know,
Paul's Regret I thought was good last week on the back up. The Warrnambool trainer seemed to be hitting a bit of form. I couldn't really find anything in the market due to their limited wet track form. Not many of them are exposed to the wet. So I went looking for the wet trackers, even mares race, horses that could find the best ground. So Papali, Paul's Regret and Mirror Vision, I think I won on side in that race.
Pelisipam with Tim Clark on will handle the wet one.
Just one gate. It's just brutal. If it didn't draw one, you just about declare it, but it's hard.
What will Timmy do on that one?
Oh, like very hard to pick it up from 1 and put it into gate 12. But yeah, I don't know. Far out. Well, by then too, Jesus, the track could be terrible.
Well, I think you just have to. The track is going to be terrible, so that's what we're going to have to prepare for.
Yeah, but it's going to be terrible. At Caulfield normally means like running line swoop, doesn't it? It's not normally cut up the inside, and unless you're on, a horse like what was that camel yesterday that Madame Pomeroy that's got the flippers on. Hard, isn't it? It's just hard to commit to those. But I think Nico's doing the right thing, looking for the wide ones.
$26 there at TopSport Mirror Vision, so make sure you snap that up. Caulfield Cup, let's get straight into the big one, and we might go through a couple of the key lead-ups, and then we might just zip down, and if anyone can make a case of a yes to back it, we'll open up the floor for someone to say why they like it. But let's have a look at the market first, courtesy of TopSport. And Smoke and Roman's Turnbull winner is a favourite here. Luxury weight, 51.5 kilos compared to some, but I guess it sort of makes some sense if you look at the top weight Gold Trip and how they sort of lined up a couple of starts ago. So $4.60 for it, Benno $9. Interesting that it's got 53 kilos. Allegron $11, Nonconformist $11, Gold Trip $12, 12 Numeran, Dues $13, was installed as the favourite for a very long time. Inspirational Girl $15, Knight's Order been backed into $15, Montefilia $20, Durston $21, Great House $21, Maximal $21. Still think this horse is going to come out. It's just not going to be suited on a heavy track. No Compromise $21, Vow and Declare, similar quote. And then you got Macram, Chapada, Crystal Pegasus, Charlie Rose might also come out. And then you got Sound at 101. So bit of a tail here, but I tell you what, it looks completely wide open, this affair. Let's have a look at the Turnbull last start. Nico, who's the best runs here you think was pretty slow tempo?
Yeah, I think the horses least suited in the race was probably Due and Knight's Order. Knight's Order would be a lot better rolling along at a fast tempo, and Due is probably better in a faster run race. Gold Trip he was in the cheap seats out wide, but he had his chance. The big thing with the Turnbull is Smoke and Romans drops in the weight off this. Like, he beat them all. I know he had a very good run in transit, but now he drops to 51.5 kilos and probably gets the run of a race again. So I could see a lot of people looking to really find him. I think he starts a clear favourite on the day. I can see the syndicates and a few of the historian profiles and those kind of things. He ticks a lot of boxes, this horse, Smoke and Romans. So I was kind of thinking it's a race I don't want to get super involved with, and if I'm backing him, I probably have to get pretty involved in the race. So he's probably like top pick kind of thing, but I think there's a few horses around the edges that could sort of run big races and could get the conditions to suit.
Couple of okay closes there, I thought, with Due, Inspirational Girl. And let's have a look at the Might and Power. A bit of a barrier trial here for Benno and Nonconformist. I thought the key with this race, I'm not sure that I think the best thing about this is they're all backing up a week later. It just seems like the perfect setup, perfect platform. Now it's going to be real testing, real slog of a 2,400 metre. But I didn't really learn much about either of these horses. Did you, Walt?
Just see if you can see close up when the dummy gets spat out of Benno. Normally at about the 50 to the 100s when he spits it. I think on Saturday it'll be about the 300. I think he'll spin it early on Saturday.
But do you think he did potentially missed a run?
Mate, it's won a Nowra maiden. That's it. It's never won another race ever.
What to do? It's only start over 2,400, Walt. What to do that day?
Whacked down the outside and got beat by a horse that was second up and had no entitle. Like if it was well set up, I would have put 10 on it. Tochi or whatever his name was. So couldn't get past a horse that was second up 5 weeks between runs or something.
Could have been a freak.
The other day it ran up to him and went, "Oh, hang on, Benno, had a heart attack. If it wins the Caulfield Cup, I'm going to start lawn bowls. I'm going to subscribe to Brad Davo's tips, and I'm just going to put them on a Saturday and not even watch the races ever again."
You can buy him now. You can buy him, Davo. He's
$24.95 a month for mentoring for Davo. I suggest everyone in the world signs up and sends him as many questions daily as possible.
You know what? If Benno wins, I'll buy you a couple of years' supply of Grippo. That's the
What's that?
That's the cream that they rub on the lawn bowls, so it grips in your hand. So I'll get you 2 years' supply
I use
of
Jism.
Grippo.
I use Jism.
Hey?
I use Jism. It's free.
Balls of steel, but pot in the grey in the wet, balls of steel.
Balls of steel.
Great.
The horse I wanted to pot was Smoking Romans because I'm like, this camel has had the softest runs in history, this prep. And then I went back and looked at last prep where it's gone 17 above and sat outside leader and won. And like, holy shit, it's hard to find a hole in this thing, but I can't.
Tough.
I couldn't back it at 460.
Let's have a quick look at the Metrop. We were lucky enough to find the winner, and it was a weaving sort of. It would have been a tragedy if it had got beat. This no compromise. It was sort of ducking and diving, and the only reason I really play this replay is for two things. I had to have a look again this morning to see if no compromise was, who was the unlucky run, or whether Durston just was out there to have a look. I wouldn't put it past Chris Waller. All of a sudden you see
the wet here, so it should be suited by the wet on Saturday.
Well, who knows? Was he just, was it a man of Pomeroy run this time, and will it turn the tables on no compromise? But it sort of half missed the ball. Tommy was sort of half asleep, checkered run, and it was entitled to win. I thought no compromise, but. When we're talking Metrop, the only way that these horses can win is if it's bottomless and it's a rung below, surely, isn't it?
That's what you're saying. The conditions are what makes it a nightmare. But I think, all the Dewey, Knight's Order, even Montefilia having to tackle that race the other day, second up, the way sort of explains. You can forgive her, is what I'm saying. Numerian, same race, went like a rocket. All that form should be stronger than the Metrop form for mine. Be interesting. And I think Knight's Order is going to run an enormous race. I think the conditions are far better suited for it, and the draw for Timmy. Oh, poor old Smoker. Smoker's drawn the gate to get the nice run, isn't it? It's hard. I'm not going to knock it, but I'm going to knock its price. But I do think that all that Knight's Order, Dewey, Montefilia, Numerian, they're good horses.
All right. So anyone want to make a real good case for Gold Trip?
To do what?
Place chance.
I think it needs 3,200.
Set to peak.
Set to peak. Just got that big weight, 6 kilos difference between him and Smoking Roman.
If it wins, I'll go straight under the desk, DK, give you a polish and a reach around and whatever you want. It couldn't win. What's that race that Sportsbet put on for the ones that never win?
The Hotham.
Yeah, it couldn't win that.
I think we all agree Dewey is a strong chance if the horses.
She's just not a wet tracker. She's got no form on wet tracks. That's the problem with her. She's a really good soft to dry tracker. Yeah. The bottomless heavy 10 is going to be an ask for her.
And another clean up for the 3200.
And she's been set for the Melbourne Cup. Yeah. So
the cream rises.
She is the best. I think she's the best horse in the race, but just whether the conditions on Saturday are to suit doesn't seem like they are.
Nico, if you kick up for Animo being a run behind all prep, this horse has had a setback. I'm willing to forgive with the run behind all prep sort of theory, but I agree I'd probably rather the not completely bottomless. I think
how wet was it the day it was against Very Elegant? Wasn't that wet, was it? The day it should have won and it flashed.
Might have been soft.
Only soft, okay.
I couldn't rule it out. I think it's a chance. I know
Timmy said to me, he goes, mate, this track yesterday, he goes, they put up every 9, it would have been a 6 in Sydney, a 5 or a 6. But obviously whatever we've copped since is a bit of a nightmare, but it should dry out a bit, hopefully.
No, not really.
But he's like, the base of that track is just not like Sydney is slush. That actually has a base to it, that track yesterday. So I'm just hoping it's not as crazy as it.
But 40 mil and then 5 mil Friday.
If they get it. If they get it, yeah. 10 mil today is what it is. It's a lot different.
They're getting it, aren't they? You guys are getting it.
We're in the storm at the moment.
They're in it.
He's not in it. He's not in Caulfield. You're talking about?
Knight's Order looks really well suited here. I think it's been 20 into 14, and I can see this thing giving a massive yelp. It's going to race like a 2,800 metre race, isn't it? It's going to be very testing. I heard Nico kick up for it on the racing show. I think no need to sort of cover that. I think it's right in the race. Montefilia, it's an interesting one. They went super quick in the Hill Stakes last time, so maybe a touch of a forgive second up, that sort of run, or just doesn't want bottomless, or a bit of both.
Well, it didn't. It's one on bottomless, isn't it?
What do you think?
1 second up on bottomless last time.
Yeah, she's got okay sort of wet form. I think she's a worry at the end of a real strong 2,400. I think it's more like a 26 or 2,800 metre race, and that would be my worry with her. She's got enough class, and I think the Hill Stakes will sort of be an okay lead up, given they went quick and they're going to have a good base out of that. But yeah, I'd be worrying her at a real strong 2,400, which I think it will be.
Numerian's from the same race.
It doesn't have the distance form, does it? It's got like 2,200 max form.
He'll be in the right spot. He'll be in the game. Just don't know if he's strong enough at the end of 2,400 as well.
Non-conformist, I thought it's a big query, and even Beggy said on the radio today, I think doesn't want a heavy 10, so I'd nearly rule him out. No one kicking up for him.
He's good enough. Definitely good enough.
Definitely good enough. He's got the backup. He's backing up onto the hit. He's got the backup out of the Caulfield Stakes onto a wet track. So if you're going to roll with the dice on one, it's on the backup. And the syndicates have showed in the past countless times they love things on the backup onto wet decks. And Begg said he's going better than he was last year, but still concerned. He'd rather it no worse than a 6 or a 7, so ideally.
Got a good foundation, Vow and Declare, but too much of a task for me. I couldn't find him at 21.
Flying that horse.
Going good, though.
Another one going good?
Yeah, wet track, question mark.
No compromise. I'd make him a winner, just given it's going to be absolute bottomless. And I guess if you make a case for Knight's Order, you probably have to make a case for no compromise off the Metrop.
Times and much.
He's the horse you can tie in all the form with. Like, he's got the form around Knight's Order, Numerian, which he can tie in. He's got the form around Benno and Allegron over 2,000, and he won the Metrop last up. I think this could be one of the stronger horses at the end of a brutal run. 2,400. He's got the right draw. He's got the right rider for a race like this. Real sort of hungry jockey. He loves wet tracks. I think he'll probably be my best result in the race. I'm not getting too involved in the race, to be honest, but I think he's good. I can't see him running poorly in this. I think he just has to be in the finish, no matter what, like the conditions and all those kind of things. He just looks the best suited.
Allegron, Walt, did it have any setback, or they just like to keep him on the fresh side?
Yeah, they probably want to, and getting into this sort of testing race. I don't know. I think it's how can you back it to beat horses with better setups? It wouldn't surprise me, but you've got to sort of try and poke holes in. You got to be demanding, haven't you? Especially fitness, I think, in this race. Tough setup.
Looks like a few of us think Benno can win, and Walt's obviously going to do all sorts of things if it wins. Great House was a no for me. Anything for you, Nico?
Yeah, probably not for Great House. He's good at 2,400 and he doesn't mind sort of wet tracks, but I think he's got a bit to find off the Turnbull run.
Inspirational Girl was a bit of a query runner for me. I really like her run in the Doncaster. Walt's pretty critical of William Pike, and if you watch the replay of
only his riding, not as him as a person.
Well, exactly.
He's a good man.
That's what we're talking. We're talking about the actual contest. Yeah. If you go and watch the replay of his ride on this mare in the Doncaster last year, you'll be very, very forgiving. And he rode it like a go-kart. I think this is a query runner and definitely a knockout chance, especially at $15.
Can't go in the wet.
How do you know?
Willie Pike or the horse?
That's her absolute been her nemesis so far. So I'd be against her on Saturday. If it was a good track, she'd be probably near top pick. But on a heavy 10, she just could have none.
I'm happy to have a side bet if you want to. We'll take that one offline. Then Nico, I think it's going to run a big race. Anyway, Maximal, I think scratching perhaps. Sound. Any push from down south? 10-year-old Entire?
Nah, the sort of next few, horses like 14, 15, Chapada, 16, Crystal Pegasus, they look to have none. 18, Charlie Rose couldn't really come into. It's just Smoke and Romans really left in the field. That's probably the live chance of those horses down the bottom. And I think like Walt said, he's just a tough horse. He's probably his best runs in his career before this preparation were at sort of 24 and 2,500 metres. And this is the first time he's going to get there. Yes, he has to take on the elite level at it, but he's got the perfect setup to do it. And apparently put in one of his best gulps ever
Really?
leading into this.
Good
So he
player.
might have improved again.
I think Durston, we could all get wallered easily by a horse like Durston. It wouldn't surprise me, but I can't back Smoking Romans at $4.60. Can win without me. I'd probably want to take somewhere around the sort of $7 or $8. I agree with a lot of your points. Though,
I'd just take all the money you're going to put on at $7 and $8 and just put it on Knight's Order and actually collect.
times and margins.
I think
Knight's
that's the go.
Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way I'm probably going to play the race is I think Knight's Order will be a winner and no compromise. And then whether I sort of chop on Smoking Romans, but yeah, Knight's Order, no compromise. And I've had an early bet on Gold Trip, but I think the track might sort of not be in his favour.
DK, these are your favourite races?
Oh, yeah. Love him.
Come on.
Love him.
Give
Already
us-
got a Voker off. Already got a Voker off. And Bendigo's, well, they've got to be Means. Bendigo with all this rain on Saturday. Caulfield Cup Day. And then the other one's Wodonga. It'll be Means as well.
What about Moe? You love Moe?
That track, at least that track's a sand. I hate Mo. It's the only one's going to go ahead, though. It's sand-based tip of a joint.
Pakenham? You got Pakenham Friday night?
Yeah, that's something. I'm waiting for those markets to go up there. There's some nice races there because those night meetings are worth 40,000. Look, mate, no, Richie, you're only because it's a grey, and it gave. I remember it giving Animo Windburn first up, so after the line. So that's still in the back of my mind.
I think Knight's Order will be the horse to run down. I think Inspirational Girl is a big chance of knocking that off. And, if Regan can do something on Benno, it might be another one to look out for. So that's my selection. So it's definitely a wide-open betting race, and there's no real reason to sort of dive in. I'd probably expect Knight's Order to keep shortening, just looking at the trends of the markets and how the conditions are going to be continue on for the next sort of 24, 48 hours. So
Morals usually do shorten.
Sorry?
Morals usually do shorten.
Puntingform.com.au. If you want to see some of the strong benchmarks and figures that horses run, we spoke about it with Smoking Romans there. It's put on fast run races and just kept punching through the line on a couple of them. That's that sort of insight you can find with puntingform.com.au's database. And Sugar Shane Baker will even give you a private tutorial if you ask nicely. So Nico loves it. I love it.
Is there any chance, if you're subscribed to Davo's mentoring system and you sign up to Punting Form, could you get a 3-way hookup and get a double mentoring session?
Oh, talking about make a Rod Frione back, I was very surprised that part of Davo's package was mentoring.
Sorry, did you just talk about Davo's package?
Well,
I did see Libby ask, is he going to be doing OnlyFans as well?
I haven't had my my wedding yet, nor proposed, but he's probably the man I'd ask. If I was going to put on a wedding and put on a bit of a show, I'd probably ask Davo
To do
for
it,
some
MC
tips.
it, or tip
just
it.
how to sort it out and organise it.
Do you know how I proposed to Beck? She's on the phone. I got Harvey's like 1 or something, got him a shirt, said, "Will you marry my old man?" Tied the ring around his neck, handballed it to her and left the room. That went down a treat.
Dear.
Still don't know who she was on the phone to.
In your cartoon undies.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, let's have a look at Randwick. I'm not sure where John McLeod is, but I want to get him online and get him lurking in the background just to start sledging you soon.
Probably
Walt.
watching Walt Disney movies, trying to find a one-liner.
Let's start previewing some of this glorious Sydney card. This is the real important
God.
race. The slot.
This is all you, Nico. This
The
is all
Everest.
you.
You're the Sydney man. We've got to put you through the torture, similar to the Caulfield Cup. We'll.
I spent 5 hours got up to race 6 yesterday and just wanted to neck myself. So yeah. Anyway, let's go.
Let's have a look at the market first for the Everest. And favourite here at topsport.com.au is Nature Strip, $2.30, Lost and Running, $6, Eduardo, $9, Jacquino, $10, 11, Masked Crusader, Private Eye, $13, Marzu, $15, Giga Kick, $21, Ingratiating, $34, Overpass, $41, Shades of Rose, $41. How these horses missing a zero? $61, Joyful Fortune. Nico might find that. 80 to 1
That's
moral.
pretty funny.
And Kementari, Forbidden Love, Apache Chase in the Congo. With the emergencies, they just all agree on that's the lot that you get to play with.
Don't know. I think, are they the top 4 raiders out of the...
Yeah, I think they're the top rated out of the Sydney Stakes, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You'd think Special K was pretty stiff not to be straight in.
It's an amazing time, 2022, and it certainly hasn't attracted the international interest that was once forecasted for this great
Ingratiating's
Everest
still
race.
got its balls, I think. That's probably why it's in, just having a shot at the title.
Let's have a look at the shorts replay. We've got Nature Strip winning here. All sort of all kicking up for Eduardo, so a bit of egg on our face. But John McLeod's lurking in the background, so a quick hello to him. But he just really beasted him this day, didn't he, Walt?
Best I've ever seen him parade. I'm not the big parade man. Maybe I once was when I get to go and see him live, but this horse just stood out. And, off a shorter break from Ascot, it was probably a time to take him on. But when you saw him wandering around, you knew you were in a bit of trouble. And it was weird from Eduardo. Like they come out sort of publicly and said they'd backed off him a bit after the first up run, which was strange. So, okay, maybe he can improve, but he did beast them. And, it's still a bit chinky. Like he's probably the only one who's not chinky, but the form without of Lost and Running and everything next race, an inch between 10 of them. And,
roll that.
And Anal Hole coming down the outside late is a bit scary. Is this it?
Yeah, so this is Marzu. You got Lost and Running, and you got Master Crusader starting to dart back along the fence.
Yeah, so they got to the right part of the track, obviously. They all had every possible chance. It's just scary. And then this race is not the whole flying home. This is brutality. So
what's that horse out the back? That horse out the back.
Brutality.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. So what does that say about this race? That's what scares me.
It's in the Sydney Stakes. I think it's 30-1, DK.
It's in front. It rounds them up 100 metres after the post.
And the only thing I can come to out of all of it is if it does miraculously dry out and DK rolls his chopper up and down the straight a few times, Private Eye is going to come from a very different form line to the rest of these horses and could be the one.
Jacquino, Golden Rose. We saw that champion come down and win the Guineas, Golden Mile, and here's Jacquino giving them all Windburn winding up in the green there. He's got the little star on his head, the Rubik.
I would say he's a better horse than Yes, I would imagine.
Got an accelerator, hasn't he?
I think he's a stronger horse than Yes. So he's a dead set wild card.
Yeah, you think he has the X factor in the race. If there's a horse that's going to rise and be our next best, sprinter, the mantle's there for the taking with Nature Strip and Eduardo sort of getting old. The 3-year-old coming into the race gets down with 53 kilos. The query with him is he hasn't seen a lot of wet tracks in his life, and you'd think, a horse with a big turn of foot like him, sometimes they can struggle in those kind of conditions, but you kind of can't take anything away from him. I thought it was pretty simple this year, the Everest. Nature Strip, I think, will be probably your winner. I reckon you could mark him shorter than 230 for sure. I think you could probably get him closer to $1.70 if you really wanted to.
Couldn't have drawn a better gate.
I laugh that. Don't you just laugh?
Hang on. Let's just watch a Private Eye. Nico's jumped the gun. He just can't wait to just dive on the favourite.
Well, this is
the only 50s to 2s on.
This is the only danger, isn't it? Nature Strip sits out in front. And this is the Charger home.
The Gill Guy.
What race is this?
This is your crowning moment.
This is the race where you wouldn't let me take 850, 750, 6. Yeah, that's right, where you were holding me at bay.
You would have been out on your ass because you would have had 5 by 20,000 on Surefire.
You've got to wait for everybody to... Mate, I was throwing off, please. Just give him a salute, J. Parr. Yeah, well, what do you have, 60.5 there? But that obviously got dry track and I'm not a big ratings man, but apparently he ran a huge number there that's well and truly good enough to stack up in a race like this. He brings in the best
last start rating on the punting form data of any of the horses.
There you go. So same across the board. And yeah, it's just he's won on heavy track, so he's not going to be legless on it. But I think the firmer the better for him. And I know there's a few horses in here that probably want it firmer, but I think he's the one that's the strongest. And if they do carve themselves up a few bit, because there are a few jockeys in here who can get trigger fingers itchy, a mighty Private Eye. Good sense of timing.
With B. Havdallah.
Yeah, well, it's unstuffable. Sure. It's not. Like it is, because the horse is just going to be midfield at best. And, oh, man, as long as he Stradbroke it. He did in the Stradbroke, didn't he?
Is it a place moral? 350?
Yep.
You okay, Walt?
I'd rather unload on it at $12-13 because if it goes as good as I think it will, it'll win. And if it doesn't, it might not run a place. That's my worry. I think go wherever it is, you'll be able to get better than $13. But I just couldn't back anything else. I can't back Nature Strip, and I can't back anything else because there's not much between them. So it's the only one from left field that's flying and good trainer. Wish Josh was on it, but other than that,
what a great race! And John McLeod's no doubt had a look at it. It's bigger than the Melbourne Cup, this one. Johnny McLeod, welcome to the show.
Yes, mate. I just had to unmute you. we're all here, ready to go tomorrow, so it'll be good.
If you had a look at the Everest, does anything catch your eye? You want to give anything away?
I'm going to look at that on the way down the plane tomorrow, but I like that 3-year-old. I think he's a really nice horse. That thing that Dicko was just saying coming down the outside there.
Did you say Dicko?
Dicko.
Oh, that's it. I'm just called him Dicko.
Nico.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so is it a lightly framed sort of horse? Have you seen it?
Yeah, he is actually. He's sort of never really grown into being muscled up or anything like that. He's a pretty lean, sort of athletic type. So maybe we'll get through it.
Did you shave your beard, Dicko?
Just grew it out.
Grew
it out the
other way. Yeah.
Mate, how come you're only going to look at it on the way down? Peter V'landys came out and said it's the most talked about this race has ever been in the history of racing. So I don't understand why you're just getting a first look tomorrow. Obviously it's the hottest race in history.
I think all these races that are over $2 million should be just carved up and brought back into line. It's an absolute
what's the other race called? The Sydney Stakes, which is the one for the backups in case something. It's worth $2 million.
It's just.
It's the reserves race.
Well, I know Des Forster's horse. She got a slot. They offered her a slot, and she said no. I just think it's a lot easier race that other one sort of thinks she's going to go to that one. But I think it's just a joke how they're thinking of upping their ante to to that race or something, aren't they? So.
I saw someone asking for an 18-horse field next year. Was that you?
And I just want more handicaps.
They couldn't get 12. How are they going to get 18?
I want handicap.
Jesus.
I couldn't agree more, Scoop. Couldn't agree more.
All our great races seem to be handicapped, so I just don't understand why you wouldn't have more handicap.
There's not even a handicap in the spring for the sprinters. There's not one, like at Group 1 level. They're all weight for age races. I reckon with the Everest, I've kind of thought about this a little bit. I reckon they should bring it back because they're obviously struggling to fill all 12 slots with live chances. They should bring it back and have like a Cox Plate model where they just take the best of the best and there's only 8 of them. And then you can have like your Sydney Stakes as your other race that brings in a lot of, they'd bring in a lot of turnover, the other race, because they have so many angles as well. But I reckon if it is for the best of the best, it's clearly got our best sprinters at the moment, but there's a lot of dead wood in the race. Bring it back to 8 or 9 slots, and you get the actual best of the best. Then
there'd be one.
Nature
Strip Stakes. Just give it
we'll have a batch race. Nature Strip v Private Eye. That's all we.
Oh, that'd be all right. I'd be out there in the morning with the bell training Private Eye to jump and lead, and then give it up to Nature Strip, and then let him eyeball him. And you see Biscuit Part 2.
Okay, so Nature Strip's the hardest to beat in the Everest, and then Jack and Private Eye look to be the X factors. Let's have a look at the Angst Stakes. Race number 10 at Randwick here. I'm busy looking over at Adelaide, the last in Adelaide, to see Port Louis running around in the last at Adelaide.
Is that the Bears horse?
Whose horse?
The infamous? Is it the one that ran second the other day?
Not sure. Angst Stakes. Polygray's a favourite here, 370. This is the other model that couldn't get it a run. Cap de Joie might come out.
Is he going to get front in Melbourne?
I think it might come out. Fine $0.7. Grace and Harmony $9. Honey Creeper $10. Hope in Your Heart 10. Meg 18. Ida 19. More profits at $20. And better the rest. Honey Creeper is the replay you're going to have a look at here, Walt.
There was 2 good runs in this race. Was it straight down the outside, was it? And, it was a bit of a funky race anyway, but the inside definitely no good. This horse runs well. Freshy smile, I think it's go. Handles the wet. Don't think it's absolutely ideal, but just trying to find a bit of value in this race now that the sort of barriers have been swapped around and the ones that looked suited last week are not quite as much. What's the
horse like Polygray looked set up perfectly last start, and now
it's just first up. It's just not an easy task high in the weights first up for a horse like Polygray. I think it's sort of found its mark a little bit. I'm trying to find the horse that's a little bit more on the up, which to me is Honey Creeper. Very scared of that Cap Joie, but I don't think it goes around. Wonderful Riri's a horse I absolutely wanted to find wherever it went next up, but it got the car park 14-15 draw on the redraw here, so
Where's it been racing? Has it been racing down there lately, has it?
Riri's had I think it's gone to Joe Pride. I don't know if how long he's had it, but he's had it this prep and it's been dead stiff 4 times, been given horrible rides and just looks like it needs an assertive ride and it'll just about win wherever it goes. But they keep trying to ride it cute.
Well, he's a horse that over races. That up here he used to over race, so they had to ride it a little bit quieter and hit the line. He's a bit of a chunk of a horse. Maybe a wet track might be a little bit of a worry, but he was a big chunk. He's got a really good turn of foot, that horse. So maybe just on back on the wet, just might be a bit. Those sort of horses, as Nico was saying, turn of foot horses don't really shine on that on wet tracks.
How wet do you think it's actually going to be, Seth? That's actually interesting now. They keep upgrading it. It's up to an 8.
Yeah, it's weird because all of a sudden it looked like there's no rain. Now there's 4 to 8 mil on Friday just to give everyone the Jimmy Brits.
I just saw 1 to 5, nothing-ish. Yeah, I just thought if they got none, it's been a bit windy too. You never know. It might actually be playable.
Today looks like a good drying day. There doesn't look like there's anything on the radar up there at the moment. So if they can sort of dodge it today, get the drying conditions, maybe they cop a little bit tomorrow. You'd think it's probably in the soft range, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if it gets to a 7 or something, that'd be awesome. At least to be playable.
We can just pray to Peter. Get the chopper out there. DK's chopper up the straight, just dry the absolute bejesus out of the truck.
6. Oh, private eye.
If you want more of Johnny's stuff, racingwatch.com.au is where you can find it. Matcha Latte was his one of his bets yesterday.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, mate. That's so nice of you. Can we watch the replay of that? No, holy crap, you and McLeod are just here trying to G me up. This is a joke.
Yeah, just put
can you watch the replay? Look up, it's his melon. You're talking about Matcha Latte. Oh, my God.
So make sure you check out Racing Watch to find more of John's action and watch him sweat this week in the grand final with Johnny McLeod.
He's a bit toey already. He's on edge.
I just want to put it out there too. I don't offer mentoring because have a look at me.
Johnny, apart from guys like Tommy Henjack and the boys in MacBet, do you offer mentoring as part of your MacBet service, or do you just tell people what to back and then you can just go off and help themselves to it?
Oh, I think early in the piece they all, they come over because they want some help. But it's just like what I was saying in that piece with you is that, I had to do the same thing. You jump on the back of someone's tail and you just learn so much from them, sort of thing. But I don't hold back in people that join in with MacBet, I don't try to hide what I do or whatever. I try to help them as much as possible. They might stay around for a year, they might stay around for 20 years, but I can't be holding back anything that I know just because they're going to be betting with us. So, I think everyone's got to do it, no matter who you are. And you think you're all right, just find someone. I wish I could find someone I could jump on the back of someone now, and learn something. And I'm sure I would learn plenty.
Over $24.95. $24.95.
I tell you what.
Does it surprise you that my mentor wears his hat in the shower and the rest of them are all dead? Does that surprise you?
I tell you what, we might have to update the competition rules. What are we going to do? Speaking of jumping on someone's coattails, are you guys going to bet blind in the grand final?
Lock them in. 5 minutes out, you declare
out and you can't see?
Well, you just lock them in through you on Messenger or something. And
then you can't see.
Yeah, that's cool.
You guys both happy with that? So there's no piggybacking?
Yeah, I'm sweet with that. I think that's a good idea because, it could be, it could be after race 1, we all, whoever's in front, we all jump on the just tagging the whole time. So
all right, so it's going to be blind betting all day, so you can't see what the other person's
I just had my ribs put back in too, so I don't need anyone on my back at the moment either. So
I think it's going to be really interesting because what I experienced last week or a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know what was going on really, but being back in the room with you guys and everything, it's going to be. Well, there's going to be a bit of digging going on, that's for sure.
I think, are you a bit worried about that in all seriousness, Johnny? Usually you're on course, you can see them in the yard, or that's, what you've changed and as part of your new method. Are you worried that all of a sudden we take that away from you and then you're in the hot seat of the stream room?
No doubt, because I went back to the races because I had to find just that extra little bit and, it's definitely helped. But in saying that, it's helped because of what the horses look like so they can improve, or if they're not going to improve next time. So that side of things, I've got, by not being there one day is not going to really hurt me too much. So if you sort of said to me, don't go to the races for a month, and throw me in the room, I'd be in trouble. I'd be in trouble. So,
are we gonna? Can you just guarantee me that Tommy Henjack's going to find you a few 6-4 chances that get beat 8 again, or has he been rostered off this Saturday on purpose?
No, he's all right. He found one of the last at Ipswich yesterday. At around 10,
what was that about? I watched his trials, and you know what I did? Because I'm the weakest dog that ever lived. I'm like, well, why isn't this thing even money? And I backed it for a place like the biggest cat of all time, and I was there watching it with my missus screaming at the 600 like this thing's going to win by 5. It was a big price.
Well, I can't believe the trainer got on the radio and said we're going to lead on this.
Oh, wow.
And we all sort of said you're cracking jokes.
Yeah.
And we knew that Brodie Loy, he's too good a jockey to even think about doing that. And he wouldn't have the speed to do it in the first place. So, but it was good in that you knew there was a heap of speed on. I was a little bit concerned in the yard because he was just walking around a little bit dopey. But as soon as Brodie Loy got on him, he was a different horse and he looked magnificent.
You notice the totes? Someone liked it.
So that's Ipswich Race 9, ready for anything. If you want to go back and have a look at that one, that's what the guys were talking about. But we're going to actually preview one at Eagle Farm, and it is race number 9 at Eagle Farm. And the market, courtesy of TopSport, is Mass Destruction $2.45. Axe is $2.90 from the Jack Bruce yard. We got F Troop at $8.50. Last Chance at $10. Burning Crown at $13. And then horses like Emerald Kingdom, who missed a start horribly in the Wheatwood, at $17. And that's about the race. We're going to have a look at the replay of the Wheatwood. Johnny, Mass Destruction.
He jumped really good, this horse, which was unbelievable. I thought he'd be back in the field and coming wide. And we had a really good bet on this thing. And he got stuck up on the inside of horses where it was a no-go zone in there. And they did sprint home. They sort of half walked in front, and then they made it a real sprint. Now, the sectionals, I think the punting form sectionals are saying that they went about a half a length slow and then got home 6 lengths faster. I don't think that's possible, just because horses like Wham and Garibaldi and those horses, Wham gave the leaders 6 lengths start and was running on hard. So I think they're a little bit wrong. We've got it going probably about 0.2 slow, the last bit. So I think this horse, if he jumps, he can get into the right spot. I expect, I sort of half am thinking that he'll be midfield. He'll be running on. My concern with the horse is that he might be a fresh horse, and Eagle Farm might not be his total go. But I'm going to be, I don't mind saying it, I'm going to have a big go at Emerald Kingdom, and I have
I'm gapping it.
I have got a share in the horse. I'm sort of saying that, but
he's been holding this horse up for the final.
Yeah, exactly.
This'll
just set it up for the grand final day. Just to jam you. I don't mind it.
You know what'll happen now? It'll be stone dead, and he'll have 20,000 on the other one at the 5-minute mark when things are locked in and revealed. This will be his best effort ever.
Well, this horse went down. He jumped about a half a length in front of him. He broke the barriers open, and he went down on his nose, and then he was out the back 3 lengths. And prior to the race, when they put him the saddle on, he kicked his shoes off at the back, so they ripped his shoes off, and he raced bare behind. Now, this horse has run 4th or 5th in a Stradbroke or whatever it is, and beaten a couple of lengths. He's fit now. He was fat first up. He had improved a little bit the other day, but he was too stirred up going to Toowoomba in the float and everything. Now Eagle Farm back to his home track. He'll be probably 3rd or 4th. He's 25 to 1 or 20 to 1. Just, he's a quality horse.
This will be the hottest go ever if you come out and win the stream off the back of this horse. I got a love this. This is beautiful. And the best thing is it's at 5:45. So right in the clinches, this horse will come out. And I think this is the horse that gets the preferential treatment going into the yard, isn't it? This is the one that can sometimes go into the yard last, or just doesn't even parade, and then they just slip it through the side gate and straight onto the track. This is this road
straight
horse.
Through the drive-through, straight to the gates.
This is the horse.
Mm. Is this the horse that TC took the sit on for the only time in his career he's led and taken a sit on one, I think, and he butchered it at Rosehill one day or something?
I don't
Is
know.
he?
I don't know.
I think old mate absolutely blasted him, and it was not a good result for.
Well, I know this horse it was in the $1 million race up at Rocky or whatever it is, and it won and it beat Apache Cat, and Apache Cat walked in front, or not Apache Cat,
Apache Chase, yeah.
And he walked in front and rode a real sprint home. This horse, gave a 2-length start in a sprint home race and went straight past it. So. These are different horses. I know he's got a big weight, but as I said, he was fat first up, and then he had improved, but he was very stirred up, and it was probably the travel going up to Toowoomba, Eagle Farm, home track, third on the fence, peel around the leaders, bang.
This is going to be beautiful. I can tell you what's going to happen Saturday, so you don't have to watch the live stream. Benno's going to lip out Knight's Order. So you'll be in the cupboard, right. And then Johnny's horse is going to win. It'll be 26 into $9.
I got my horse in first up for 20 months at Newcastle. So anything could happen. We could be pulling tricks out of every box known to man. It's going to be interesting. That's good though. I like that because at least it's late in the day, a bit like old Private Eye was last time. It builds the drama to a heat, whereas mine's stupid. Also, I just saw it's in race 2. They just released the fields for Newcastle. That's no fun at all.
So you got Honey Creeper late, and Johnny McLeod's got Emerald King of late. So it's going to be fireworks. So make sure you head to Little Birdie TV or TopSport and go into the My Benefit section and deposit into Team MacBet, John McLeod, or Team Racing Watch, which is Johnny Walter. It's going to be on for young and old. Midday start, and it'll probably go to 6. I don't know if you're betting in the last race, Johnny. Will be 6:20 on Saturday night. So I'm tipping it's going to go to 6:30 the stream. And then we're going to do the Masters draw live on air after
races
that.
everywhere, isn't there?
It's just crazy. So make sure you have an early night on Friday.
That's what we needed last time was more races, so that's perfect.
You know what we didn't do? We didn't even take a break on the last show.
Yeah, I did notice. It was
terrible.
when I had the cramps and I was lying on the floor. Johnny McLeod didn't even know he was in the stream. He just popped in 4 times and out, and that was it. Holy crap.
I think that last half an hour of that stream was just unbelievable. And it was just incredible what was going on. It was sort of like bombs were getting thrown, and it was just a matter of if it hit or it didn't hit, and it was just a good.
Donnie was trying to work out how to lose. When
he backed those 2 winners in a row, I said I didn't know whether to loosen up. That's another thing. You guys are a lot younger than me, but my age from, I would say, mid-30s was when I was betting the biggest. So, at what age are you guys? What sort of are you going? You
on 40 last week.
So, how old are you, Disney?
I turned 40 last week. Dead set.
39 here, Nico.
23.
Nico's 23, going on 45. Don't worry about that.
DK.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny is a little bit older than me, but I'm nearly his vintage.
Don't be shy.
What do you think?
48.
When were you betting the biggest you've ever bet? What age?
Just before I was probably early 30s. Just before I was married, before I had sort of commitments and stuff like that. I was blasting then. Whew.
Yeah, the same as me. I got married when I was 32, and it was probably anywhere from 30 to 40. I think when I did get married, I really had to. I pushed a little bit. I started going to a lot more meetings and not playing around a lot more, but it was, you still had to roll your arm over, but.
Geez. You could get on in those days, Johnny, too. That was the thing. You made the most of advantages. I mean, I just saw the boys, Kingsley and Rich and BZ, did a podcast the other day, and Kingsley was saying back in 2008 when Waterhouse started first up in Melbourne on the rails and all that sort of thing, just say, I'll bet you what you like. He's betting him to win 150. And he said, I just had to rein myself in. We always said bet bigger, bet bigger. The more I bet, the more I turn over, the more I win. He said I had to pull myself back in, but that was only, 15 years ago now. And now you can get on to win 3,000 with a boogie. So.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I remember when fixed price came in, and everyone was watching Betfair and trying to work out using Betfair as a real control over, what prices they bet. And if you handled Betfair, you could get $10 horses that should be $4. It was just ridiculous. And next minute they'd start $3. So you're getting $10 horses that were should be $3.50. It was just stupid.
Now we can talk about this on Saturday. We've got plenty of content. I'll make some notes because there's a lot of things that just you blokes, Nico, would like back in those days. Like
you'll make some notes for the 10 minutes you're lobbying for, will you? Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll turn it up at 10-6.
Just as long as you don't try to break the door down again this time.
Yeah, I'll not.
Old Kramer over here.
Anyway, it's good.
It's going to be on for young and old, so it's going to be very entertaining show. So 6.5 hours. Johnny McLeod, good luck. Make your flight, and can't wait to see you in Melbourne town on Friday or Saturday morning, whichever that is. But thanks, mate.
Well, I'm literally looking forward to it. I think it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. All right. Cheers, guys.
Join Team MacBet if you want to jump on the coattails of a fourth-generation bookmaker at TopSport there, and Johnny Walter for the pro punter sort of angle, and he's got his Knight's Order thing pinned to his head. Okay, time for Donny's best. 2 out of 3 last week, on fire.
G'day, boys. Johnny's here with this weekend's best bet. We nailed it last week. We got 2 from 3, so let's keep it going. Keeping it pretty simple this week. I'm going one horse at Eagle Farm on Saturday. It's race 6, number 11, Stellar Magic. This thing's a flying machine. It loves 1,000 metres. It loves Eagle Farm. It was raced out of its distance range last preparation, chasing black type success. Barrier 1 is perfect. The trial was unbelievable. It'll sit in the first 3 pairs, peel off their backs, and I think it goes bang. $3.60 is a great price, so get on now. Righto, good luck, boys, this weekend. Can't wait to watch. All the best. Let's go.
Looks grouse with their haircut there too, Donny.
One tip.
Moving straight along. Haven't got time. TopSport Big Bets, TopSport Steam. Randwick Race 7, number 11, Jackano. This could be John McLeod's bet. $500 at $13. Definitely not mine. Race 8, number 4, Kiss Some. I've just spelt that incorrectly. So it's Kiss 'em, but it's Kiss Some. $250 at $20. This horse has got a lot of potential. And then
First up? I think it's first up.
Yeah, Caulfield Race 7, number 6, Express Pass. Pretty honest little try. This horse, $750 at $10. And then Caulfield Race 9, number 5, Numerian, $500 at $13. So that's the lot. We've spoken a lot. I think it's a world record show. It's probably deserving of it being Caulfield Cup and Everest. We'll be back next week. There'll be one winner. You'll either be up and about, Walt, or you'll be sooking. Good luck on the punt this week, Nico. Hopefully you can blast a couple of big roughies, but hat tip from yesterday, make sure you get the Mounting Yard Mail. DK out wide. What's happening this week, DK, quickly?
Oh, just synthetic form by the look of it. So we'll get meetings to run. They'll be run on the synthetic, but anyway, it would have been anyway. Yep, we'll try and find something.
Beautiful. Make sure you jump on board the stream. Going to be a cracking 6 hours and a $50 dart. Make sure you head to Little Birdie TV. Join us in the Masters ongoing. Can't wait for the golf, and it closes Friday night, 11:55. Can't wait for the stream. See you guys.